Rain hit the window like tiny fists trying to break in. The city outside was a blur of headlights and thunder. Inside our flat, silence felt louder than the storm. "Are you going to say something, Isabella?" I asked, my voice barely holding steady. "You've been pacing for 10 minutes. She didn't look at me. Her arms were crossed, her gaze fixed on the floor. "There's nothing left to say, Ethan. Nothing left." I forced a laugh that sounded more like a plea. "We've been together for 3 years. You don't just throw that away." She exhaled sharply. 3 years of what? Struggling to pay rent? Watching you come home every night, tired, complaining about your boss, dreaming but never doing? Her words hit harder than I expected. "You knew my situation when we started," I said. "I told you I was working my way up. I thought you believed in me." "I did," she said flatly, "until I realized belief doesn't pay bills." The sound of the rain grew louder, or maybe it was just my pulse. "So that's it? You're leaving me because I don't make enough money?" She looked up then, eyes sharp, distant. "I'm leaving because I'm tired of living like this. Tired of waiting for you to become someone you'll never be." I stood frozen. "Someone I'll never be?" "Yes." She stepped closer, voice low. "You're a good man, Ethan, but you're weak. You let people walk over you. You let life push you around. You talk big, but never fight back."
How?
I laughed bitterly. "Weak. I've worked every day for us. I've skipped meals, skipped sleep. For what?" She cut in. "To keep barely surviving? To keep pretending effort means success? I'm done pretending." Her tone sliced through me, cold and final. "Isabella, we can fix this. Whatever you think I lack, I can." "She can't," she said. "You never could." I stared at her, searching for the woman who used to hold me after long days, who used to say I made her feel safe. "Is this about someone else?" She hesitated. That was my answer. I swallowed hard. "Who?" "It doesn't matter. It matters to me," I said quietly. She sighed, finally meeting my eyes. "Liam Blackwood." The name tasted bitter in my mouth. "Your boss's friend?" She nodded. "He believes in me. He makes me feel like I can have a real future, and I don't." "You make me feel trapped," she whispered. My chest tightened. "So all those nights we planned a life together, what were they?" "Lies. They were hope," she said. "But hope doesn't last forever." I stepped closer, desperate. "You said you loved me." "I did." "Then what changed?" "You," she said simply. "Or maybe I just finally saw you for who you are." The words hit like glass shattering inside me. "You mean the man who stood by you when you lost your job? The man who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself?" "I didn't ask for your pity, Ethan. It wasn't pity, it was love." She shook her head. "Love isn't enough. Not when the world keeps moving and you're standing still." I felt my throat burn. "You think he's better than me? Because he has money? Because he wears a suit that costs more than our rent?" "He's ambitious," she said. "He knows what he wants and takes it. You just dream." The thunder outside cracked so loud it made the lights flicker. "So that's it?" I whispered. "You're really walking away?" She picked up her coat. "I already did, Ethan. You just didn't notice." I laughed softly, broken. "You'll regret this." She gave a faint smile. "No, you'll thank me one day. Maybe losing me will finally make you grow up." I stared at her, the storm reflecting in her eyes. "You think leaving me makes you strong?" "It makes me free." For a long moment, we just stood there. I wanted to beg her to stay, but pride glued my tongue. "Goodbye, Ethan." Her voice cracked slightly on my name, but she didn't stop. She walked to the door, opened it, and the wind rushed in, cold and sharp. I said the only thing left in me. "You called me weak tonight, Isabella." She paused, half-turned, eyes glimmering in the dim light. "I hope," I said quietly, "you never have to find out what strength really looks like." She looked away. "Good luck, Ethan." Then she was gone into the rain. Into the night, the door closed. Her words didn't. Weak. They echoed through the flat like a curse. I stood there for what felt like hours, listening to the storm and my own silence, Every corner of that room carried her scent. Every memory stabbed a little deeper. I picked up her empty mug from the table, still half full of the tea I made earlier. I wanted to throw it, to break something, but my hand wouldn't move. Instead, I whispered to the empty room, "Maybe you're right. Maybe I am weak." The rain answered for her, steady and cold. I sank onto the couch, staring at the window. Lightning flashed, and for a second, I saw my reflection pale, tired, hollow-eyed. I didn't cry, not yet. I just sat there, waiting for the pain to become numb enough to bear. Somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered, not hers, but mine, "Remember this." And I did. Because that night, in the echo of her words, something inside me died, and something else began to wake. The morning light didn't feel like light at all, just a pale reminder that night had ended. I stared at the clock until the alarm screamed, then dragged myself to the office because pretending nothing happened felt easier than facing what had. When I walked in, eyes turned away. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. "Morning," I muttered. No one answered. Mr. Dawson's door was half open. He looked up when I knocked. "Ethan, come in." His tone was tight, rehearsed. I stepped inside. "You wanted to see me?" He sighed, folding his hands. "Sit down." My stomach sank. "Is something wrong?" He didn't meet my eyes. "The board made a decision last night. We're moving in a new direction. Your position. It's being dissolved." "Dissolved?" I repeated. "After 4 years?" He nodded. "You've done good work, son, but circumstances changed. We've hired someone new to lead the department." I frowned. "Who?" "Lucas Blackwood." The name hit me like a slap. Blackwood as in Liam Blackwood. Mr. Dawson hesitated. "Yes, his cousin." "So this is because of Isabella," I said quietly. He rubbed his forehead. "Look, Ethan, I don't know the details. You know exactly what's happening," I snapped. "She leaves me and suddenly her new boyfriend's cousin gets my job. That's not coincidence." He stood, voice hardening. "Watch your tone. This is business." "Business," I echoed, laughing bitterly. "Right? You fire me to impress a millionaire and call it business?" "Enough," he said. "You'll get 2 weeks severance. Clean your desk." I looked at him for a long moment. "You always said loyalty mattered here." He didn't respond. I walked out before the anger could turn into begging. At my desk, Clara stood waiting. "Ethan, what happened?" I forced a smile. "Apparently, I've been dissolved." Her eyes widened. "What? Why?" "Because I'm weak," I said, half joking, half dying. "Don't say that," she whispered. "You're not. Tell that to the people already celebrating." I nodded, toward the group whispering by the printer. Clara glanced at them, jaw tightening. Cowards. I started packing my things, one framed photo, a few pens, a notebook filled with ideas no one ever cared about. "Ethan, talk to Dawson again," she urged. "He owes you at least an explanation." "I already got one," I said. "Money beats loyalty." She lowered her voice. "Is this about Isabella?" I froze. "You heard?" "Everyone heard," she said gently. "She's been visiting the office with Liam. They act like royalty." I laughed under my breath. Perfect. I lose my job and become the punchline. Clara touched my arm. "You still have people who believe in you." I looked at her hand, then at her. "Do I?" She nodded. Me for a second. I wanted to believe her. But the world felt too heavy. "Thanks, Clara. Really? But I need to get out of here before I say something stupid." She didn't stop me when I walked past the staring faces and out into the cold London air. The sky was gray. Threatening rain again? I sat on a bench outside the office, my box of things on my lap. Every sound, the buses, the horns, the chatter felt distant, like I was underwater. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered anyway. "Hello?" "Ethan Cole." A formal voice asked. "Yes, this is HR. Just confirming your resignation paperwork." I didn't resign. Oh, the voice stammered. Mr. Dawson said. I hung up before finishing the sentence. My hands shook. I opened my messages. Isabella's name stared back at me, last text from her still unread. I typed, "You win. Hope it was worth it." I hit send. Seconds later, a notification popped up. "Message failed, user blocked you." I laughed out loud, the kind of laugh that hurts your throat. People passing by looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. By the time I reached my flat, the rain had started again. I dropped the box on the floor and collapsed on the couch. The silence wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. Mom called just as I was about to close my eyes. "Ethan, you sound strange." "I got fired," I said flatly. She was quiet for a moment. "Oh, love." "Don't," I said quickly. "Don't make it sound like a tragedy." "Feels like one," she replied softly. "But maybe it isn't," I sighed. "She made sure I lost everything, Mom." "Isabella? Who else?" "She and Liam must be laughing right now." "Let them," she said. "Their laughter doesn't decide who you are." I didn't answer. She continued. "Sometimes losing everything is how you find yourself." I closed my eyes. "You really believe that?" "I have to. And now, so do you." Her calm voice steadied me for a moment. "I'll call you tomorrow," she added, after she hung up. The room felt even emptier. I stared at the ceiling, whispering, "Find myself." Where? The rain tapped harder on the windows. Like an impatient rhythm reminding me I was still here, I picked up the photo from the box, me and Isabella. Smiling outside Hyde Park, I traced her face with my thumb, then dropped it back inside. The truth sank in. She hadn't just broken my heart. She'd taken the ground beneath my feet. My phone buzzed again. "Clara. Ethan, are you okay?" "Define okay." "I can come over," she said. "We'll talk or not talk." "Whatever you need." I hesitated. "You shouldn't waste your night on me." "It's not a waste." Her voice cracked slightly, and I almost said yes. But the part of me that still believed in pride spoke first. "I'll be fine. I just need to think. Promise me you'll call if it gets too heavy, I promise." When I hung up, I sat there in the dark, hearing the rain and my own breathing. Somewhere between the thunder and the silence, I whispered, "She called me weak, and now I'm proving her right." The words stung, but maybe admitting them was the first step to changing them. I poured a glass of water, stared at my reflection in it, and muttered, "Tomorrow I start again." The rain didn't answer this time. But for the first night since she left, I believed maybe, just maybe, Mum was right. The first year nearly killed me. Not from failure, though there were plenty, but from the endless grind of becoming someone new. Mornings blurred into nights. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford. Every rejection email, every unpaid invoice, every doubt from investors burned like acid, but I learned to turn pain into fuel. One night, Clara leaned over my desk, arms crossed. "You've been staring at that screen for 9 hours, she said. "I'm almost done," I muttered. "You said that yesterday." Yesterday wasn't enough. She sighed. "You can't build an empire if you collapse before the foundation's finished." "I already collapsed once," I said quietly. "Never again." Her tone softened. "You don't have to prove anything to her, Ethan." "I'm not proving it to her," I said, my voice tightening. "I'm proving it to myself." She sat down beside me. "Then remember you're human. Eat something. Sleep. Let me help." "You already do," I said, managing a small smile. "You stayed when everyone else left." Clara chuckled. "You pay me. Not enough to deal with this," I said, gesturing at the mess of papers, sketches, and coffee cups. She smirked. "You're right. I'm underpaid. Give me shares." "Done," I said. Her eyes widened. "Wait, seriously?" "You earn them," I said. "Cole and Reed is built on loyalty. Yours counts." She grinned. "You'll regret that when we're rich." "I hope so." For the first time in months, I laughed. By the 12th month, we'd gone from a cramped basement office to a glass-walled workspace overlooking the Thames. Our name, Cole and Reed Innovations, sat proudly on the door. Mason walked in one morning, tossing a newspaper onto my desk. "You're trending, my friend." I scanned the headline. "Local startup disrupts major tech market." "Not bad," I said, forcing a calm I didn't feel. Not bad? Mason said. We're booked 6 months ahead. You're a bloody machine. Machines don't bleed. Maybe, he said. But they burn out. Clara poked her head in. Meeting in 10. Investors want numbers, not philosophy. Mason grinned. She's scarier than you. She's the reason we're still alive, I said. After they left, I leaned back in my chair. The office hummed with quiet energy keyboards clicking, coffee brewing, ambition breathing. A reflection caught my eye in the window. For a second, I didn't recognize the man staring back sharper suit. Steadier gaze, posture straight. The weak man she left behind was gone. Still, when I heard laughter echoing from a nearby cafe below, I froze. It sounded like her, Isabella. I turned instinctively, but it wasn't her, just a stranger. The sound still burned through me. I whispered, "You're still in there, aren't you?" Clara entered again, tablet in hand. Talking to ghosts? Maybe, I said. Keeps me grounded. She looked at me for a moment, studying my face. You think of her often? Every day, I admitted. But not the way I used to. How then? As a reason, I said. Not a wound. Clara smiled faintly. That's progress. Progress, I echoed. That's what she never believed I could make. Clara hesitated, then said, If you saw her now, what would you say? I thought for a moment. Nothing, I said finally. I'd just let her see me. That's colder than I expected. It's clarity, I said. She thought breaking me would end me. Turns out, it rebuilt me. The meeting went well. Investors loved our growth charts, our projections, our story. I spoke with confidence I didn't have a year ago. Every word carried weight because I'd earned it the hard way. Afterward, Mason clapped me on the back. You looked like you belonged up there. I did, I said simply. Later that night, I stood on the office balcony. London glittered beneath a pale moon. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through old contacts, and paused over her name Isabella Hart. Still blocked, I whispered, Thank you. The words surprised me, but I meant them. Her rejection had carved the hollow that ambition filled. Her cruelty lit the fire that wouldn't die. The wind brushed against my face. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel cold. Clara stepped out behind me, holding 2 cups of coffee. You're not still working, are you? Thinking, I said, dangerous habit. I smiled. Necessary one. She handed me a cup. To what? To survival, I said. She shook her head. To transformation. We clinked cups. I watched the city lights flicker like constellations. You ever wonder, I asked, what happens after you rise from the ashes? Clara sipped her coffee. You start flying. I laughed quietly. Guess I'll need wings then. No, you already have them, she said. You just haven't looked down long enough to see. Her words lingered long after she left. I turned back to my desk, opened my laptop, and began drafting our next expansion plan. Every keystroke felt like a pulse alive, determined, unstoppable. The man she once called weak was gone. The man typing now. He builds. The first year nearly killed me. Not from failure, though there were plenty, but from the endless grind of becoming someone new. Mornings blurred into nights. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford. Every rejection email, every unpaid invoice, every doubt from investors burned like acid, but I learned to turn pain into fuel. One night, Clara leaned over my desk, arms crossed. You've been staring at that screen for 9 hours, she said. I'm almost done, I muttered. You said that yesterday. Yesterday wasn't enough. She sighed. You can't build an empire if you collapse before the foundation's finished. I already collapsed once, I said quietly. Never again. Her tone softened. You don't have to prove anything to her, Ethan. I'm not proving it to her, I said, my voice tightening. I'm proving it to myself. She sat down beside me. Then remember you're human. Eat something. Sleep. Let me help. You already do, I said, managing a small smile. You stayed when everyone else left. Clara chuckled. You pay me. Not enough to deal with this, I said, gesturing at the mess of papers, sketches, and coffee cups. She smirked. You're right. I'm underpaid. Give me shares. Done, I said. Her eyes widened. Wait, seriously? You earned them, I said. Cole and Reed is built on loyalty. Yours counts. She grinned. You'll regret that when we're rich. I hope so. For the first time in months, I laughed. By the 12th month, we'd gone from a cramped basement office to a glass-walled workspace overlooking the Thames. Our name, Cole and Reed Innovations, sat proudly on the door. Mason walked in one morning, tossing a newspaper onto my desk. You're trending, my friend. I scanned the headline. Local startup disrupts major tech market. Not bad, I said, forcing a calm I didn't feel. Not bad? Mason said. We're booked 6 months ahead. You're a bloody machine. Machines don't bleed. Maybe, he said. But they burn out. Clara poked her head in. Meeting in 10. Investors want numbers, not philosophy. Mason grinned. She's scarier than you. She's the reason we're still alive, I said. After they left, I leaned back in my chair. The office hummed with quiet energy keyboards clicking, coffee brewing, ambition breathing. A reflection caught my eye in the window. For a second, I didn't recognize the man staring back sharper suit. Steadier gaze, posture straight. The weak man she left behind was gone. Still, when I heard laughter echoing from a nearby cafe below, I froze. It sounded like her, Isabella. I turned instinctively, but it wasn't her, just a stranger. The sound still burned through me. I whispered, You're still in there, aren't you? Clara entered again, tablet in hand. Talking to ghosts? Maybe, I said. Keeps me grounded. She looked at me for a moment, studying my face. You think of her often? Every day, I admitted. But not the way I used to. How then? As a reason, I said. Not a wound. Clara smiled faintly. That's progress. Progress, I echoed. That's what she never believed I could make. Clara hesitated, then said, If you saw her now, what would you say? I thought for a moment. Nothing, I said finally. I'd just let her see me. That's colder than I expected. It's clarity, I said. She thought breaking me would end me. Turns out, it rebuilt me. The meeting went well. Investors loved our growth charts, our projections, our story. I spoke with confidence I didn't have a year ago. Every word carried weight because I'd earned it the hard way. Afterward, Mason clapped me on the back. You looked like you belonged up there. I did, I said simply. Later that night, I stood on the office balcony. London glittered beneath a pale moon. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through old contacts, and paused over her name Isabella heart. Still blocked, I whispered, Thank you. The words surprised me, but I meant them. Her rejection had carved the hollow that ambition filled. Her cruelty lit the fire that wouldn't die. The wind brushed against my face. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel cold. Clara stepped out behind me, holding 2 cups of coffee. You're not still working, are you? Thinking, I said. Dangerous habit. I smiled. Necessary one. She handed me a cup. To what? To survival, I said. She shook her head. To transformation. We clinked cups. I watched the city lights flicker like constellations. You ever wonder, I asked, what happens after you rise from the ashes? Clara sipped her coffee. You start flying. I laughed quietly. Guess I'll need wings then. No, you already have them, she said. You just haven't looked down long enough to see. Her words lingered long after she left. I turned back to my desk, opened my laptop, and began drafting our next expansion plan. Every keystroke felt like a pulse alive, determined, unstoppable. The man she once called weak was gone. The man typing now. He builds. The email came in at 6 a.m. sharp. Subject, partnership meeting Blackwood. Enterprises. I stared at the name for a full minute before it hit me. Blackwood, Liam's family company. My pulse quickened. Fate had a cruel sense of humor. Clara noticed my expression. You okay? Guess who wants to collaborate? I said. She frowned. Who? Liam Blackwood's father. Her eyebrows shot up. You mean, yeah, I said, standing. We've got a meeting at noon. She hesitated. You're sure you can handle it? I smiled thinly. I've waited a long time for this. By noon, I was in a glass-walled conference room overlooking the Thames. The city glittered, calm and indifferent. I wasn't. My palms felt cold. I adjusted my tie, breathing slowly. Then the door opened, and there she was. Isabella. Her heels clicked against the marble floor. Her hair was shorter now, her confidence sharper, but when her eyes met mine, it faltered. Ethan, she whispered. I gave a polite nod. Miss Hart. She blinked, visibly unsettled. It's been a while? 3 years, I said evenly. But who's counting? A tall man entered behind Hurlium. He wore that same smug expression I remembered from the photos. Colin Reed, he said, shaking my hand. I've heard quite a lot about you. All good things, I hope. He smirked. Depends on who you ask. Before I could respond, another man joined us older, confident, with a commanding tone. Gentlemen, shall we begin? That was Daniel Blackwood, Liam's father, the man who ran an empire. Of course, I said, gesturing to the table. Please, have a seat. We sat. Clara took her usual spot beside me, calm and professional. Isabella sat across from me, pretending to focus on her notes, but I could feel her eyes flicking toward me again and again. Daniel spoke first. We've been following your company's progress, Mr. Cole. Impressive growth for such a young firm. Thank you, I said. We build slow but strong. Liam leaned back. So you're confident you can handle the logistics of our distribution? Confident enough to deliver results before the deadline? I said. Our data doesn't lie, Isabella finally spoke, her voice unsteady. I reviewed your projections. They're ambitious. Ambition built this, I said, meeting her gaze. It's what separates those who build from those who depend. Oh! Her expression tightened. Still the same confidence? Not confidence, I said softly. Clarity. Silence settled across the room. Even Liam's smirk faded. Daniel cleared his throat. If we move forward, this deal could benefit both sides significantly. I agree, I said. Colin Reed doesn't seek charity. We seek partnership, he nodded approvingly. That's what I like to hear. As the presentation began, I spoke with precision numbers, projections, market expansion. But beneath every word, a quiet storm brewed. Every glance Isabella gave me was a reminder of the night she left. Every calm breath I took was proof I wasn't the same man she walked away from. Halfway through, she dropped her pen. It clattered on the table. She bent to pick it up, her hands trembling slightly. I didn't react. I just continued. As you can see, our system increases efficiency by 20%. When I finished, Daniel leaned back, impressed. You've done your homework. I do that, I said. Liam stood. We'll review and contact you soon. Take your time, I said. We'll be ready. As they began packing their documents, Isabella lingered. When the others stepped out, she turned to me. Ethan, she said quietly, you've changed. I looked at her, calm as stone. People do that when they stop breaking. Her eyes glistened. I didn't mean to. Yes, you did, I said. You just didn't expect consequences. She swallowed. I thought you'd be angry. I was, I said. Now I'm busy. Her lip trembled. You're working with my fiancé's father. I smiled faintly. Funny how life balances itself, isn't it? Clara re-entered, her voice crisp. Mr. Cole, the car's waiting. Thank you, I said. Standing, Isabella stepped closer. Ethan, wait. I met her gaze one last time. Some things don't deserve words. Her breath caught. I turned and walked out. In the hallway, Clara whispered, You did well. I exhaled slowly. Silence speaks louder, doesn't it? She nodded. Especially when they expect noise. As the elevator doors closed, I caught one last glimpse of Isabella through the glass standing frozen. Hands trembling, lips parted like she'd seen a ghost. For the first time, I understood the power of stillness, Revenge, I realized, doesn't always roar. Sometimes it walks in wearing a calm smile and a tailored suit. When success finally settles, it doesn't feel loud. It hums quietly beneath the noise of falling empires. It started with whispers. It's investors pulling out, suppliers delaying payments, small fractures spreading through the walls of Blackwood Enterprises. Clara placed a folder on my desk one morning. "You've seen this?" Flipped it open. An article headline: "Blackwood Group faces audit rumors." I smiled faintly. "The cracks are showing." She raised an eyebrow. "You planned this?" "I didn't need to," I said. "Karma's got good timing." That same afternoon, my phone buzzed. A name I hadn't seen in years lit the screen. Isabella Hart. I stared at it for a full minute before answering. "Isabella." Her voice came soft, uncertain. "Ethan, I didn't expect this number still worked," I said. "I wanted to talk," she said. "Professionally." "Of course," I said, leaning back in my chair. "Everything's professional now." "I saw the reports," she continued quickly. "Your company's growing fast. Blackwood's having some issues." "I've heard," I said. "Must be difficult." She hesitated. "You sound different." "I am," I said. "Time changes people." "Maybe we can meet," she asked. "Just to discuss business, I mean." I smiled, though she couldn't see it. "Sure. Bring your fiancé, or is it husband now?" Silence. "I'd prefer to come alone," she murmured. "I bet you would," I said quietly. "Email my assistant." When I hung up, Clara was staring. "You're really going to meet her?" "Why not?" I said. "It's always interesting when ghosts come knocking." 2 days later, I walked into a coffee shop near Tower Bridge. She was already there, stirring her drink like it held answers. "Ethan," she said, standing. "You look well?" "You look nervous," I replied. She smiled faintly. "Still direct, I see." "Some habits are worth keeping," I said, sitting opposite her. "I didn't come here to fight," she said quickly. "I wanted to see if there's room to collaborate." "Collaborate," I repeated. "That's a new word for you." "I know I made mistakes," she said, "but Liam's company things aren't stable. I thought maybe I'd throw you a rope. Maybe we could help each other." I leaned forward. "You didn't think about helping each other when you left me with nothing." "I was young," she whispered. "So was I," I said. "But I didn't trade love for luxury." Her eyes filled. "You don't understand. I understand perfectly," I cut in. "You wanted power? You chose it. Now it's slipping." She looked away. "You've changed. That's what happens when you burn," I said. "You come out steel." Before she could answer, my phone buzzed again. "A message from Mason. She's here. I have to go," I said, standing. "Ethan, please." I looked at her one last time. "Karma doesn't need my help, Isabella. It's already working." That evening, I met Sophie Blackwood for the first time. She walked into the meeting room with quiet confidence, nothing like her brother. "Mr. Cole," she said, shaking my hand. "I've read your reports. Impressive." "Call me Ethan," I said. "And thank you." She smiled. "You don't seem like the type who enjoys small talk." "Depends on who I'm talking to." Her laugh was soft. "Then I'll get to the point. I think my brother's hiding something." I studied her. "That's a bold statement." "It's not a guess," she said, sliding a document toward me. "Internal audits, unreported accounts, fake suppliers. He's using company funds to cover losses." I scanned the papers. "How long have you known?" "Long enough to realize no one else will do anything," she said. "My father's health is failing. Liam's running the show. But if the truth comes out, his empire collapses." I finished. She nodded. "And people like you will stop working with him." I leaned back, watching her. "Why? Tell me." "Because you're the only one he underestimates," she said. "And I want to see justice done." Her honesty disarmed me. "You're not like the rest of them." "I don't believe in loyalty without integrity," she said simply. "And I don't like seeing people destroyed for being decent." Something about her words stayed with me. "Send me everything," I said. Quietly. "No one can trace it." She nodded. "Understood." As she left, Clara stepped in. "You trust her?" "I don't need to trust her," I said. "I just need the truth." Clara folded her arms. You're playing with fire. Good, I said. I want them to feel the heat. Later that night, I sat in my office. Lights dimmed, the city glowing outside. I opened Sophie's files. Dozens of documents exposing financial lies, cover-ups, and offshore accounts. Every click revealed another fracture in their empire. Every line whispered justice. When Clara entered again, I said quietly, "It's all coming apart." She nodded. "And you're not even touching it." "That's the beauty of it," I said, staring out at the skyline. "I don't have to." Outside, thunder rolled over London, low, distant, inevitable. Karma, I thought, doesn't shout. It waits. And tonight, it had started to move. The news broke before dawn. I sat at my desk, coffee untouched, watching the headlines scroll like poetic justice. Blackwood Enterprises under investigation for fraud. Oliver Kane's voice filled the screen. Calm, direct, brutal. Sources confirm, he said, that confidential documents expose massive financial manipulation by CEO Liam Blackwood. The whistleblower remains anonymous. That was me. My phone buzzed nonstop. Partners, investors, Mason, Clara. I ignored them all until Mason called for the 5th time. "Ethan, was that you?" His tone was part shock, part awe. I leaned back. Let's just say the truth needed help finding daylight. "Man," he laughed breathlessly. "You lit a bomb. The whole city's talking about it." "Liam's finished." "Not my concern," I said. "I just wanted the lies to end." Paused. "And her?" I looked at the screen again. Isabella, standing behind Liam in some older interview, her smile rehearsed. She'll face her truth too. By afternoon, the world had turned on them. Reporters camped outside Blackwood Tower. Social media devoured every rumor, every clip, every photo. The golden couple was trending for all the wrong reasons. Then, the unexpected, my phone lit up with her name, Isabella. My thumb hovered for a second before I answered, "Yes." Her voice cracked immediately. "Ethan." You shouldn't call me," I interrupted. "Please, just listen," she pleaded. "Everything's falling apart. They're saying things that aren't true." You need what?" I asked quietly. "A savior? You already had one. You chose to break him." She went silent. I heard her breathing fast, uneven. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I didn't know Liam was doing all this." "Didn't you?" I asked. "Or did you just not care until it touched you?" Her sob came through the line like static. "You don't understand, Ethan. I thought you were bitter. I thought you hated me." "I did," I admitted. "But hate fades. Truth doesn't." Later that evening, I walked past the cafe across from my office. People were glued to their phones, reading about the collapse. A few recognized me, but said nothing. The air buzzed with gossip and judgment, the kind once reserved for me. Mason joined me at the counter. "You look calm for a man who just destroyed an empire." "I didn't destroy it," I said. "It destroyed itself." "I just handed them a mirror," he grinned. "Still poetic?" I smirked. "Maybe." The next morning, Sophie called. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but relief. "I saw the report," she said. "You did the right thing. I didn't want you caught in the crossfire." "I knew what Liam was doing," she admitted. "I just didn't know how deep it went. You gave me the strength to walk away. You did that yourself," I said softly. She paused. "Will you meet me?" "Tomorrow," I said. "There's one thing left I need to see first." That night I went to the Blackwood Tower now, surrounded by flashing lights and news vans. Liam stood outside with lawyers, his perfect composure cracked. Reporters shouted his name. Isabella followed a few steps behind, makeup smeared. Her once flawless posture trembling under cameras. She saw me. Her lips parted. But I shook my head, no words left to say. Our eyes met hers begging, mine indifferent. The same silence she once gave me, I returned. Only now, it wasn't out of pain. It was power. I turned to leave. Behind me, a reporter shouted, "Mr. Cole, did you have any role in exposing the fraud?" I smiled faintly. I had a role in surviving it. Back in my car, The city lights blurred through the windshield. The rain began to fall, soft and cold. Clara texted, "You did it?" "It's over," I typed back. "No, it's just balanced." Oliver Kane appeared on another broadcast later that night, dissecting the downfall with surgical precision. His voice carried the weight of every truth I'd buried. He ended with, "In the end, power built on deceit always collapses under its own weight." I closed my laptop, feeling an unfamiliar stillness. No victory, no vengeance, just peace. The next day, Sophie and I met at the Riverside Cafe. She wore a beige coat, her eyes tired but steady. "You look lighter," she said. "I feel." "Finished?" I replied. "Do you regret it?" I thought for a moment. "No, but I don't celebrate it either." She nodded slowly. "They mocked you once. Now they fear your name." "I don't want fear," I said. "I just want silence, the kind they stole from me."
Ow.
She smiled faintly. "You've earned it." I looked out over the river, its current carrying the reflection of a city rebuilt on truth. Somewhere behind those lights, Isabella was learning what strength really meant. And I was finally free enough not to care. The rain hadn't stopped since morning. London felt heavy, gray, and poetic. The kind of day where old ghosts dared to knock again. Mason had just left my office when the receptionist called. "Ethan," she said softly, "there's someone here to see you." I already knew who. "Send her in," I replied. The door opened, and Isabella stepped inside, drenched, trembling, mascara streaking down her cheeks. For a moment, it was as if time itself hesitated. "Ethan," her voice cracked. "Please, I just need a minute." I gestured toward the chair. "You have 5. She sat, clutching her purse like it could hold her world together. "You look different," she whispered. "Colder, stronger, I learned," I said. "Life has good teachers." She flinched at that. I deserve that. Silence filled the room, thick and uncomfortable. The sound of rain against the glass became our only witness. Finally, she spoke again. "I was wrong about you." I leaned back. "That's vague. You'll have to be specific." Her eyes glistened. "I thought you were weak. I thought you needed me. But now, look at you. You're everything I used to dream about, and I ruined it." I said nothing. She continued, voice trembling. "Liam's gone. The company's gone. Everyone blames me, and they should. I was blind, Ethan. I chased glitter and lost gold." Her words cut deep, but not because they hurt, because once they would have broken me. "You didn't ruin me," I said quietly. "You just revealed who I could be without you." "Don't say that. Please don't say that like I never mattered." "You mattered," I admitted. "Just not in the way you think." She looked up, confused. "You mattered because losing you taught me everything winning never could." She let out a sob that sounded like regret itself. "I didn't mean to destroy you." "You didn't," I said. "You built me?" Her lips quivered. "I don't understand." I stood, walking toward the window. The city stretched before us, shining lights reflected in the rain. "You called me weak?" And for a while I believed you. Every sleepless night, every rejection, every humiliation, I carried those words like chains, until I realized they were fuel. "Ethan," she whispered, standing too. "I don't want your pity. I just want to fix it." "You can't fix what wasn't broken," I said. "You just didn't see me clearly." She took a step closer. "Then let me see you now." "Let me try." I turned to face her. Her eyes were desperate, not for love, but for redemption. "Do you remember the night you said I'd never make it?" I asked. Her breath hitched. "Yes, I believed you. For months, I replayed your words. They burned every time I failed. But now when I hear them, I don't feel pain. I feel gratitude." She blinked back tears. "Gratitude?" "For the push," I said. "For forcing me to build a version of myself you'd never recognize." She stepped back like the words stung. "You hate me," shook my head. "No, hate requires energy. You don't have that power anymore." The silence that followed was heavier than any argument. Then she whispered, "I was wrong, Ethan. You were always the strong one." I smiled faintly. "No, Isabella. I didn't become strong because of you. I became strong despite you." Her face fell, not in anger, but in understanding. "That's worse," she said softly. "It's truth." She nodded slowly, eyes glistening. "You really don't love me anymore, do you?" I hesitated, then said, "I don't even hate you anymore." Her lip trembled. "Then what do you feel?" "Peace." She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. "I always thought revenge was about winning. But you look like you already have everything." "I do," I said. "Myself." She laughed weakly, tears slipping down. "I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me." "No," I said. "You set it free." For a long moment, neither of us moved. The rain eased outside, softening into a drizzle. She finally whispered, "Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Isabella." She walked to the door, hesitating only once, like she wanted me to stop her. But I didn't. The door closed quietly behind her. And the silence that followed wasn't empty, it was cleansing. I exhaled slowly. Staring at the city that had once witnessed my fall, Mason texted me. "Heard she came by? You okay?" I replied, "Better than okay." He wrote back, "Feels like the end, huh?" I smiled. "Feels like the beginning." I looked at my reflection in the window, calm, steady, unshaken. Revenge wasn't watching her break. It was realizing I didn't need her to heal. The morning sun poured through my office windows, warm, steady, almost golden. For once, I didn't feel the weight of expectation. Just peace. Clara looked up from her laptop. "You're smiling again," she said. "I didn't realize I stopped." She grinned. "You did. For a long time, maybe I just needed the right reason to start again." She closed her laptop and leaned forward. "And what's that reason?" I smirked. "You already know." She rolled her eyes but laughed softly. "You've become unbearable since we went global." "Successful," I corrected. "There's a difference." Mason knocked once before stepping in. "There you are, Mr. Worldwide. We just signed the Singapore deal." I stood shaking his hand. "You never miss, Mason," he chuckled. "You're the one who taught me not to." Clara looked at both of us. "You realize you've built something people said was impossible." "I remember," I said quietly. "I remember every word." Mason's smile faded a little. "Her words?" I nodded. "Yeah, you'll never be enough, Ethan." Funny how that sentence built an empire. Clara reached for my hand. "You didn't build it to prove her wrong. You built it to prove yourself right." Her voice settled in me like peace itself. We wrapped up the meeting, but I didn't go home right away. Instead, I walked. Same streets, same corners, the same old cafe where I once sat alone, trying not to fall apart. Now, the world looked different. Or maybe I did. I stopped at the spot where Isabella had walked out of my life. The memory came, rain, her voice, that last look, but it didn't hurt anymore. Mason's words echoed in my head. "It feels like the beginning." He was right. Clara called me just then. "You disappeared again?" she teased. "Should I send a search party?" "Just taking a walk through the past." "Dangerous place to visit," she said. "Don't stay too long." I smiled. "Don't worry. The past doesn't own me anymore." Her tone softened. "Then come home. Dinner's getting cold." "On my way." I hung up. Taking one last look at the street, the same street that had once seen me break, I remembered her exact words that night. "You're weak, and maybe I was then." But weakness wasn't permanent. It was a seed. I whispered into the air, "Thank you, Isabella." The wind carried it away like it understood. When I got back to the office, Clara was waiting by the elevator. "You're really not haunted anymore, are you?" she asked. I shook my head. "No, I'm grateful." She smiled, stepping closer. "That's what strength looks like, Ethan. Not revenge, not pride, peace." I looked at her, steady, kind, real. "I finally understand that." We rode down in silence, but it wasn't awkward. It was full, like words weren't needed anymore. Outside, The nightlights shimmered over the city that had once watched me fall. Clara slipped her hand into mine. "So," she said, "what's next?" "Living," I replied, "without proving anything to anyone." She laughed. "That's new for you." "It's freedom," I said. "It took me years to earn it." As we walked toward the car, I caught our reflection in a shop window, two people standing tall, calm, unshaken. For the first time, I realized I didn't need to erase my past to move forward. I just had to own it. And in that quiet moment, I knew exactly what my story meant. Sometimes being broken isn't the end. It's how you learn to stand taller.